you will never, ever see an unboxing video on this channel because I think they are largely stupid. But there is something, at least in the YouTube world, to be said for being one of the first people to own a product and then sharing information about that product with the world that is legitimately helpful. And I have a few special things or maybe unique things to say about this new Leatherman. And so maybe my opinion or insight will be helpful to somebody out there. So I just bought this. Actually, it was a gift. I was given some money for my upcoming birthday, encouraged to buy something that I wouldn't normally buy for myself. And so I bought this new Leatherman Arc. It basically just came out. And it's basically a Leatherman P4 built on the new free technology with a few changes. So if you're familiar with the size and dimensions of that, then this will feel familiar. It comes with a sheath and these little bits. All right, so I've had a Leatherman since I was 6 years old. I had the Super Tool 200, and as a little kid, I just thought it was the most amazing thing in the whole world. And so I'm kind of a Leatherman fanboy. That being said, I only own one, this one. I'm not a collector. I hate that stuff. And I'm not such a fanboy that I can't see past issues and faults and things like that. So you may know that I had a Leatherman Wave recently that I had modified and changed out some of the blades. I gave that to my best friend because I don't like owning more than one of something if I don't have to. And I bought this for two reasons. First is that when the free series came out, the P2 and the P4 and the knives, I was really interested and intrigued because to me, it was the third time that Leatherman did something very significant, like a revolutionary technology. And I wanted to try it out. I did not like the assortment of tools that it came with. And specifically since I was still at Volkswagen, I was using a bit holder all the time. That's why my Leatherman had a double bit holder, because I was using Torx all the time. And so I just didn't like their assortment of tools. I missed the file that they had. Anyway, so basically here's the three things that Leatherman has done that have been amazing. The first thing is they combined the pocket knife and the pliers back in, I think it was the early 80s with the original personal survival tool. That was incredible. The second thing that they did with the Wave is they made 4 tools accessible from the outside, so that you didn't have to always open up the tool to get into everything. And I think the fourth thing that they've done is this free technology. So the free technology is basically where instead of the pivot for the tools being at the end, it's like 7/8 along the way. And what that means is you have, let me zoom in. Sorry. That means that instead of reaching with your fingernail and grabbing at the little thing, all you have to do is push right here, and these things, hey, and these things pop up. So basically, you can do it like with that part of your thumb. You can do it with that part of your thumb. You can do it with your finger like that, although that's kind of awkward. And then those things pop out. You can pick the one that you need, and you can get back to business. You can also, everything locks and unlocks, and you can lock and unlock it like that, all with one hand. Here it is on this side. And that's the free technology. And it works really well. You can do it with gloves. You can do it when you're cold, and you can do it when you're tired. And so being able to get to everything with one hand has taken, in my opinion, a big step above the Wave, where in order to get to all of the, like, aside from the outside 4 things, the Wave you had to open and then you had to pick at it like that. It really wasn't a one-handed operation. You really couldn't do it with gloves, and if you keep your fingernails short like me, you could barely do it at all. So the other thing that is new with the free technology, and I don't know if they actually count this as the free technology, is that you have a magnet here and a magnet here. And so it's not the friction here or the friction here that keeps the whole thing together. And so it kind of acts like a butterfly knife. Hey, shh. Thank you. It kind of acts like a butterfly knife, where as soon as you break this tension, the whole thing just kind of flips and flops apart. And that's really nice for one-handed operation. It's a little bit more difficult to close it with one hand, but you certainly still can. And so those two things are really what make this new series free special. And I think it's not just an evolutionary step. I think it's a a revolutionary step that you can get to everything with one hand and you can get to everything with gloves. And I think it's worth it. Now, the P2 and the P4 had an assortment that I just didn't like. I really don't use scissors very often, so I kind of wish these weren't here. I wish there was a serrated knife instead. I didn't like that the serrated knife is tapered in this direction instead of this direction, because when it's tapered like this, you can get in and you can cut things that are tucked away in a corner, whereas when it's like this, you can't get into the corner, so I don't like that. I also didn't like the file that came on the P4 was very short, and it was metal and wood, but it wasn't diamond. This is a diamond coated metal file, which I tend to use a lot, and that was valuable to me. On the P4, you also didn't have the little bit holder here, and you didn't have the big bit holder here. And I think the reason that they did that, this is just conjecture, I think the reason that they did that is the new free technology was expensive, and they wanted to keep the price of the tool reasonable and low and comparable, so it wasn't this huge jump up in price. And so they downgraded some of the other things that would be expensive, like this bit holder is far more expensive than just you know, something like this, which is what they gave you a bunch on the P4. And a metal cutting file is less expensive than a diamond cutting file, and the gut hook on the serrated blade is more expensive. And so I think they just chose to introduce the new free line with some more economical tools to keep the overall price down so that it was more accessible to more people. But anyway, this is really expensive. This is 220 bucks, way more than I would spend if it were my own bank account. But as I said, it was a gift, and I'm very grateful for that. So those are my thoughts on the new Leatherman Arc, and really the P2 and the P4. If the P2 and the P4 have the assortment of tools that works for you, then pretty much everything I said applies to it, because this is exactly like a P4. I did buy one when they first came out. I used it for a couple weeks, and then I sold it on eBay. I just really wanted to get my hands on the new technology. I love Leatherman. It's been a part of my whole life and my childhood, and I always have one in my pocket. And so now that they came out with the right assortment of tools for my life, I wanted to get one, and I was grateful to have some birthday money to do that. So anyway, I hope that was helpful to someone. And if not, just give this a thumbs down. Go to Leatherman's website and buy one. And other than that, have a good day, guys. Take care.